to know by now that kids see right through you at any age. You have to know that by now. I promise you will have their attention. Folks, Alexa Baroda here. Thanks for watching. I am a first-year high school English teacher. However, I am not new to teaching. I taught middle school for 7 years. And hey, this year I decided to start my own channel, kind of document my journey. Today, I want to talk about what you can do if you feel like you are losing your class. It is April, and chances are you might feel like you are losing some students, possibly even an entire class, because they're getting tired. You're getting tired. Everyone's anticipating summer. Tip 1 is to be transparent and have a mutual conversation with them. You have to tell them that for one reason or another, you were not able to provide them with, word it how you want, you were not able to provide them with the ideal environment that you wanted for them for one reason or another, okay? And you kind of explain to them what happened. And in this process, you have to let them know, you have to remind them how much you care about them and that you are sorry that you have not provided them enough, with this environment. As tempting as it is to want to point fingers, as tempting as it is to want to, you never put your phone down. Seriously, do you two ever stop talking? What time do you go to bed? You're always sleeping. Are you FaceTiming? Well, you come in 20 minutes late every single day with a milkshake, but it's my fault that you don't know what's going on. So what you're saying is it took you 30 minutes to log in. It's not easy sometimes to take the blame, especially with how easy it is to point fingers at our students. There are things that we could change to make our classes better. Sometimes, students are bored. They're tired of opening their journals, or they're tired of their Google Classroom prompt, or they're tired of doing the same old thing. They're tired of sitting in the same seats. They're tired of not talking about what they really want to talk about. The whole point is you care about them and you care about their learning and that you are sorry. Tip number 2, change the energy. No, seriously, change the energy. When you walk into any room, you feel energy. It feels positive, it feels comfortable, it feels awkward. What is that energy that people feel when they walk into your room? Sometimes that needs to change, okay? We're moving into spring, we're moving into summer. When the season shifts, sometimes we need to shift too. Take some time right now to think about the energy in your classroom and take some steps to change that energy just a little bit. Some of the things that I was doing in January, they were great. They worked for January, they worked for February, but students are tired of that now. They want to move, they want to try something new. I want to try something new. So I'm gonna give you just a variety of ways that you could work on shifting the energy in your room tomorrow. Rearrange your desks. You could rearrange your entire room, go you. Or you could just change a couple of desks. Now I just did this the other day. I made one subtle change and my students love it. I used to have desks lining the back of the wall. So now everyone is facing each other, almost, I call this like debate style, okay? Your seating arrangement might actually be one of the reasons you feel like you are losing your class and you don't really know how to go with that. Something that you could try, take your student roster and everyone's grade, and one by one, allow students to choose their seat based on who has the highest grade in your class. Most likely, everybody will take all the back seats first and all the corners first because that's just how it goes, Everybody wants to be in the back. Everybody wants to be in the closest place where you could charge your phone or easily charge your computer. It usually works out in that the students who are pretty much failing your class, their only choices are the seats in the front, and that's exactly where you want them. Smell. What does your classroom smell like? Do you have a diffuser in your room? If you don't, you guys, my students love my diffuser. I get compliments on my diffuser all the time. Everything from, oh, it smells so good, to it's so cute. They wish that I had more than one in here. They ask questions about it. They want to know what the deal is with all these little bottles. Add a diffuser to your room. Consider that. Would you like to see mine? My diffuser is in all my videos because it's right behind my desk. There it is. You see that? That little guy gets so much credit. Are you utilizing YouTube's background features? I use YouTube, maybe there are other sources out there, but YouTube has tons of backgrounds that you just let play out in class that students really like. My 2 favorites right now are nature sounds, or I love Jamaican or reggae background music, all instrumental with the background of the beach. I find that small group work, independent work runs so much smoother when I have one of these backgrounds. Wipe the desks down. Wipe your desk down, wipe their desks down. Clean your room, but don't feel like you need to turn your room upside down. Cleaning goes a long way. put up some student work. Now, these days, so much of their work is online. I know that the struggle with that is real sometimes, but use this as an opportunity to kind of say, hey, like, let me have them do something fun in class. You know, when was the last time they colored or just did anything like that? Have them do a writer's boot camp. That is really fun. I actually have a video on writer's boot camp. This is what I happen to have up right now. But just put up some student work, even if that means going into your computer and printing it. Print it on some cute neon colored paper, okay? You should have student work up in your classroom, and it should not be the same student work from 1 month, 2 months ago. And if you don't have any, have them create some. I don't care what content area you teach, put some books around your room. It's not just English teachers who should be putting books around their classroom. We push our students so much to get off their phones. What do you have in your room as an incentive for them to want to get off their phone and look at something else? Stickers, I'm so serious, especially scratch and sniff stickers. These kids go wild. It's just something about them is fun for them, or something else they'll do in terms of the stickers. They'll go, oh, do you have another one of these? Or do you have another one of those? These small changes work. Play a joke on them. Tell them one day that it's a scratch and sniff sticker, but it's not. There's nothing more hilarious than watching your student scratching and sniffing their journal, and all they smell is paper. And tip 3, is pretty important. Reevaluate your lesson plans. So if you feel like you're losing some of your students, or if you feel like you're losing your class, your lesson plans have to have something to do with it. You know, there's some disinterest, they're not engaged, you need to change something up. You know, reevaluate how you're going about teaching it, especially during this time that you're going to take to get those certain students back or get your entire class back. Sometimes I think we fall into this trap of incorporating community building activities in the beginning of the year or in the beginning of the semester, and then we kind of let them go because we get wrapped up in academics, right, and the content. We really need to spiral those throughout the entire year or throughout the entire semester. You start to disconnect a little bit, and they also start to disconnect with each other. I'm just talking about building positivity in your classroom. If they're disinterested, if they're not having a good time in your class, they're not really learning anyway if they're not paying attention. Look, kids love, here's what kids love. Kids love their phones, they love to sleep, and they love to eat. If you are not planning your lessons with those 3 things in mind, then you might have a problem. Stop and have some fun with them. I felt like I was losing one of my classes just a little bit. So just for one day, I mixed up their seats a little bit, and then we did this small little classroom activity. I basically made these random cards, and they all have something different. Some of them have messages, silly little pictures, and I asked them to take one, and I asked them to find the matching card on any random desk. That was a lot of fun for them. Even the ones who were complaining about where their seat was, I'm not sitting here. Like, I literally had a girl, she said, I'm not sitting here. I'm not sitting here. She sat there because it was a game. So when you turn things into a game, the vibe's a bit different. You could do a quick true false game. I gave everyone a Post-it, I modeled it, and I kind of said, give me a true or false statement. The whole class on the Jamboard, they all posted true or false to the question. So everybody gave a true or false statement, which initiated conversations. Mine was, do you think I have a tattoo of blah, blah, blah on my back? Most of them said no, and they were right. And they were asking me my thoughts about a tattoo. And some of them were saying, you'll never get a tattoo. I'm like, I would love a tattoo. I just can't decide what it is that I want. That small little activity completely changed that authoritative vibe that I felt like I had to put out. Another activity that you could try really tomorrow, it is my favorite go-to, especially when I'm putting students together who I know are going to be reluctant to want to talk to each other. Literally give them a paper clip and then ask them, how many ways can you use a paper clip? And whichever group comes up with like the most ways to use a paper clip wins. And then at the end, every group reads off their answers. It's very silly, it's very wacky, but it's a lot of fun. And the students who are usually so reluctant to talk to each other work together. I love talk circles. Create a set of questions. If it's your first time doing it, I would not make your questions all that deep, but with each talk circle, your questions can get deeper and deeper. There's a talking stick. It's nice when students create it themselves. One student talks at a time, but only if you have the talking stick in your hand. I learned so much about my students this way, and they genuinely appreciate listening to the stories of their classmates and feeling like they're being heard. You know this because they want to do it more often. Don't underestimate the power of a raffle. Give students tickets, okay? Offer them something. I mean, they love to eat, okay? They love snacks. Whatever it is that you want to do, offer it, give them tickets, and do a raffle at the end of class or do a raffle at the end of the week. Who doesn't love a raffle? So to wrap this up, do not lose momentum and structure because of the time of the year. We're getting to that point. We're getting closer to the end. Start implementing these tips tomorrow, this week, next week, as soon as possible. They're super easy, and there are so many more that you can try. If you feel like it's just you, it is not just you. Teaching is full of seasons, and we are getting to that season where kids start acting crazy. You got this.